Hello my beautiful and amazing people, bad as Dark Zone agents, Uncle Butcher in the building as usual, providing you with all the best builds in the game for PvP and PvE. And today I have for you something really spicy, one of the best face turning builds for master difficulty. Unfortunately, the packed master difficulty mission doesn't allow us to use this season AK Unity season modifiers, which kind of sucks because you can't really use old modifiers and the new ones, and that sucks. I wish they would at least leave us the option to play old manhunt missions, master difficulty missions with old modifiers. That would be actually kind of cool. And why that's a bummer, because in this case we are losing a little bit of weapon damage and hazard protection, which makes this build immortal in any other legendary stronghold or heroic mission. We are using crazy synergy, and one minor attribute could pretty much change this build to absolute powerhouse. On my chest piece I have armor regen, which is not needed. I would rather have hazard protection on because I'm using Backfire exotic SMG, and that would allow me to use additional protection from elite mod instead of bleed resistance mod, and that would push my build up to 60 plus protection from elites, and at that point you will never die. Because not only I'm using Memento backpack as my key source of survivability with all the bonus armor and armor repair, but also I'm using Bulwark set, which is one of the strongest sets in the game in terms of survivability. Just let enemies deal damage to your shield and you will heal yourself. Paired up with Memento, and that's game over. Also, I will show you slight modification how you can get a little bit more DPS out of this build. And by the way, this build has 2.1 million armor and it's shredding master difficulty. You never die with this setup. Backfire exotic SMG is must have, but if you don't have it you can replace it with the Bighorn exotic assault rifle. With headshots you can deal some crazy damage, and Eagle obviously also could work, or St. Elmo's, but Backfire will provide us with the highest DPS output possible. If you are using, for example, Bighorn, you don't need hazard protection that much. You can reroll everything for headshot damage or crit damage. But before we continue, quick word from the sponsor DME.net. If you don't have enough time or good teammate but you still want to have all the best items in your game, then DME.net is set for you. They have absolutely amazing team on consoles. They will complete your order super quick if you will use my promo code RBD for RBD. You will receive 15% discount on absolutely all service. Amazing deal, especially when right now they have some crazy sales going on, so definitely check these guys out. And if you have any questions, not hesitate to drop your comment down below in the comment section or contact the operator, and the rest will be the history. But now let's get back to the build itself, which is kind of really dope. And the beauty of this build is that you can actually modify it to your liking. It's simply a template. You can replace the guns, because in this build pretty much every weapon can fit, even Pestilence with Plague Effect. You don't need to use shield that much. Also, if you want, you can use Bulwark shield, maybe with Tempest. Well, Tempest is not needed, but Bulwark shield has a lot of health, and if enemies will deal more damage to your shield, you will receive more healing. So maybe it's not a bad idea to use Bulwark shield as well in this setup. That would make you absolute a powerhouse. Simply use your shield, receive some damage, and enjoy healing. So let's dive into this setup. First of all, Specialization Survivalist. Why? Because we will receive medkit, which will heal us and our teammates for a couple of seconds. Also, additional protection from elite. Status affected enemies will receive more incoming damage. That's really great because we have fire grenades as well. So overall, really good, solid specialization. We don't need gunner specialization here because we are focusing more on survivability, and we need that additional protection from elite in this build. For main weapon, I'm using Backfire exotic SMG. Unfortunately, like I mentioned at my intro, this packed master difficulty mission doesn't allow us to use new or old modifiers, and that means we can't get any benefits whatsoever, and still I'm rocking enemy smashing. At the normal legendary strongholds or open world activities, Unity season modifiers would kick in, and that would push our build to complete immunity from all status effects. You would not receive any bleed damage whatsoever, and that will be shown by the numbers as well. Crit damage and crit chance is never a problem with Backfire exotic SMG. It will deal shit ton of damage. Second weapon will be Lexington with killer talent and quick step pistol for quicker movement overall. Also guys, this is simply template. You can replace Backfire with Bighorn and then replace hazard protection mods or minor attributes with headshot damage or crit damage. It really depends on your preference. Also really strong homebone. Maybe I will create a Bighorn variation of Bulwark build. Also really key point here that you can get also more damage, but you will sacrifice a little bit of protection from elites and a little bit of armor. How? I'm using Gilligard Chill Out named mask, which will provide me with 2 additional mod slots. If you want more damage and also stay with immune or stick with hazard protection, I would recommend you to use Jarl's named mask. Why Jarl's named mask is important? Because it has as minor attribute 40% additional health damage, and Jarl will give you hazard protection as well. So one Jarl's piece will give you 20% hazard protection, 14% additional health damage, and in mod slot you can use protection from elite. So you are losing one mod slot, and Gilligard is giving you 5% bonus armor, so you're losing a little bit of armor and additional protection from elites, but instead of that you're gaining additional damage amplifier, aka health damage buff. So you can squeeze a little bit more DPS out of this build if you want, but just understand that you will lose also survivability a bit. But I think it's not a problem, because right now I don't have hazard protection attribute on my chest piece. Unfortunately, I have only armor regen. In ideal scenario, you want Bulwark chest piece with hazard protection minor attribute, and that means that we don't need to use bleed resistance mod on the mask itself, so we can replace bleed resistance mod for additional protection from elites. So right now I have only 49% protection from elites, and with better chest piece obviously I would be still immune from bleed effect, and I would reach like 60 plus protection from elites. Rest of the gear is really simple: chill out mask, chest piece, knee pads, gloves and holster. Everywhere you should roll hazard protection as minor attribute. In mod slots, protection from elites and memento backpack is also must have. It's really strong, especially with Bulwark set. It will give us trophies. Trophies will provide us with bonus armor. We have 2.1 million armor, and that's a lot. It will work really well with all the armor repair and regen from all the sources in this setup. Also, you will receive some weapon damage and skill efficiency. Not much, but hey, it's something. So also 3 core attributes. Really strong. Our shield will be capped out in terms of skill power, so shield is kind of must have. Also at my intro a little bit touched what variant of the shield you would want to use. Honestly, I would maybe even switch for Bulwark shield. It has a lot of health with all the protection from elites. Pretty much nothing and nobody will be able to get through it. You would receive a lot of healing as well. So once in a while, simply equip your shield, receive some incoming damage, and enjoy the healing and start the mayhem. Start stacking your Backfire exotic SMG, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Yeah, so you can replace also Backfire with Pestilence if you want. In that case, equip shield. It will automatically use shield and equip pistol, so you don't have to swap weapons. So that's kind of handy. You could use Bighorn. Most likely I will try to make Bighorn build because I really love Bighorn and how it deals damage, but this one is really strong combo. Just look at these shenanigans. Butcher drops the mic. Stay safe. Love you all. Bye.